Going on, Austin?
What's up? What's up? Not too much, not too much. My bad for yesterday, by the way.
I mean, it's all good, you know. Schedule helps things,
Yeah, yeah,
rescheduling and stuff is easier for sure. So
yeah.
yeah, implementing that the last few weeks was good. So yeah, the event's coming up, right? A few days.
Yup, yup.
So you kind of came to a decision at this point fully of what you're playing, right? Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
semi.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna play the Fiendsmith
Full
Ryziel deck.
Fusion?
I
Okay, cool.
I think
What?
I'm not gonna lie.
I,
I think Malice might be the best choice into the week. Okay, so there's like two things. Like I think if you want a top guaranteed, I think like Malice is probably the deck. But winning with Malice seems really hard. So I'm just gonna play Fiendsmith Ryziel. But I'll share my screen so you can see the list. This
yep.
is, so yeah, this is what I have. I've gone back and forth on like infinite of the choices in the deck. I like the engine. The only way I change the engine is if I play more cards than I play another sword. But I've been liking it. The non-engine is the only thing that I've really been changing a bunch. Like,
Yeah, our decks are still very similar. Like regardless, like our decks are like the only thing that is difference between our deck is just like the you're just adding just more copies of Ogre and then the talent, extra
mm-hmm.
talent, and just not playing Droll. Because so still very similar. Okay. You just prefer Ogre into Malice and the other matchups because against Malice you hit Lizard Ghost and you cut them off in some certain scenarios. I'm assuming that's
Yeah. Just like more hand traps for that deck, because that deck
and then more.
is extremely scary. And then, more hand traps for like the mirror match too.
Yeah. The only issue with Ogre in the matchup is like in some scenarios where if they open the Bestial or if they open Fiendsmith cards, if they're playing the Fiendsmith Malleus variant, it's
Hmm.
just like I don't know if Ogre is going to be that effective. But I would like to mention that no matter what card in that slot was, it wasn't going to be good against that matchup anyways. Because like if it was Droll or Bestial or like if it was Droll in that slot, it was doing nothing anyways. Um, so I feel like realistically, like it's probably fine, still because like sometimes it works, and I know sometimes it doesn't. But no matter what card was in that slot, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been the same thing. You know what I mean? It would have not affected the game.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
it's fine.
agree.
You're already playing all the cards in your deck that affect their game. Like you're already playing three Nib, you're already playing three Imperm, you're already playing three Baylor, you're already playing three Fu. You know what I mean? You're already playing all those cards. But I do think realistically, one thing I would change in your deck is I would not play either one ogre or one talent, and I would play three sword. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. That's the only thing I would want you to do.
You think the three
Just
swords
for
worth
me,
it?
Austin, bro. Yes. Also, like, I don't know if you need to play cowboy. I think maybe it might be more worth it to play the third tract because when you go first in games 2 and 3, um, you want to have tracked in your hand, bro. It plays around Droll the best, plays around Perulia the best. It also just being like any combination of a Fiendsmith card plus a ideal full combo,
Hmm.
and I just think that's mad important.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Like,
like
I would rather if I'm not gonna.
I don't know. Like whenever I don't have a time card in my list, I feel like I always end up regretting it. And whenever I play a time card, it usually only wins me like one match if it does come up. But I feel like being able to like win one match like almost solely off just having this card in my side deck instead of having a card that like I have to draw. I feel like it's probably worth it. Obviously, once you get like deeper into the tournament, like once you get like the top 8 or something, like this card just won't come up because there's like too much time on the clock for time to even come up. But I don't know, like
That's kind of one of
against
those.
weird matchups it comes up to like.
Patrick, I get it. Patrick has the same logic going into every tournament as well, like Hoban.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't want to cut the cowboy, that's fair. But at least cut the. I think you should just cut the third talent for it. Like no matter what, I think you should play the trap. Like I would try to have 3 track to my deck post side when I go first. Like I think that card's just too broken, bro. Like, that card's giving like that card is giving too much value, bro. Realistically, that card just gives too much value.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Like
think that's fair.
I mean, like that's kind of where we're at. Like it just gives too much value, bro. Like when you go first, like like I think every time you like resolve your Fiendsmith stuff going first, you're more likely to win the game than your opponent. Realistically, just the follow up, the shit that you get off of it, like it's just too much, bro. You just add so many extra interruptions to your end board. Like it's just not real. Those
Y-
cards are providing
Yeah.
for you.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
I do kind of like the
so,
idea of siding the third track because like I definitely don't want to like main deck it because I hate drawing like multiple Fiendsmith cards going second, but like going first, you know, drawing
yeah,
multiple Fiendsmith cards is fine. Like engraver plus
yeah.
track, like
Yep.
that's fine.
So I've cut the third one from my main deck as well, and I'm currently playing two. I can show you what I have currently. I mean, realistically, like I'm telling you, our decks are very similar. Um, like it's really just not that far off. So let me show you. See.
Oh, I've thought about Chaos Hunter over the Meow in the side. Maybe like a number of them, not like all three become Chaos Hunter. Because Chaos Hunter seems better overall into Malice. Because it seems like people aren't respecting that card right now. Uh, where like if they do respect it, then their Metal
Hey, where
Tronus will stay in the deck. But like there's like it's like Talents is like their only out. It seems.
Yeah, like the thing is with Meows, like I don't know, like some people are telling me there's conflictions with Lancia, but every time I open it with Lancia, I just Meows them, I don't Lancia them. And if they end on a mid board, I just try to crack through it and then like Lancia them on the crack back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely don't think there's like a confliction between the two. Like if I draw Lancey and Meows, like I probably win that game. Like I'm fine with that.
Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I'm on to. Okay, perfect. The only thing is like, yeah, Droll's a weird card. I'm not against you cutting it for Ogre. I mean, our decks are not far off. I don't really know. Oh, you're playing Talons. Yeah, I'm just not playing Talons in my deck anymore, bro. Like, I couldn't play that card. Like going into the
Hmm.
tournament, like I don't know, like me and Jose have been playing Infinite, and like I don't know, like the card just it's just hit or miss, you know. And like I don't know if I can afford to play a card that's hit or miss right now. You know,
Yeah.
like sometimes it's good,
Hmm.
sometimes it's not good. You know what I mean? And it's just like I don't know. I just felt like I started one for when I go first with the cross out designator. Um, and that's kind of the thought process. Um, Troll's actually been decent for me. I've actually been liking Droll. Like every time I go first, it's obviously auto win with if I have it in my hand with on top of a board. It's been insane. And then I mean sometimes going second, it's just kind of the same theory with Ogre. Like the card's like literally the same theory, right? Like there's some games where the card's gonna be absolute shit, and there's some games where that card just wins me the game. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But like I guess this is different because I would say like this goes for like meta decks, like, except for like Malice. Realistically, Malice card sucks. Same thing with the Bystials. And I mean
Hmm.
that's just fine. I have 4 dead cards into that matchup if I end up versing it, and I'm obviously gonna side them out post side, but um yeah, I can see you playing Ogre in this slot and then like maybe playing a talent. Like you don't want to play closer to 40. Like I feel like you could play closer to 40 still in your deck. Like do you think you want to play a higher deck count realistically? Like you don't want to be
Yeah.
close to 30. Like
Yeah. I feel like I do want to be like a little over because like I've tried playing 40 and closer to 40, and then I start seeing like the weird hands. You know, like Lurie, Lacrima, like those cards are fine, but like Lurie, Lacrima plus Sword, those hands are weird. You have like Node, Cross, Trap, Fua, like all those cards going first are awkward unless if you're like already playing very nicely anyways. So
yeah,
I'm just trying to like
play a little
decrease
bit.
that.
I feel you.
And then
I feel
also
you.
like
I
yeah,
feel
also like just adding more going second cards into my deck, you know, gives me like a higher chance of drawing them more. And then I was playing like you know the two talent like right now I have like the two talents in main, one talents inside the cross out called by, so I have like 7 support cards with my engine. because like I'm trying to draw one of those. But I can see what you're saying with the track though, because that's like, it's like
You want to see that.
basically, yeah, it's like
Those
basically
are
a
more.
support card at the same time.
Yeah, I think that card's more important than all the other cards that you just named. Like talent in that slot, that card could have just not been used the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you drew it, like your opponent could have not hand trapped you. Like and realistically, like I mean, you could have led you to not play. Like realistically, like at the end of the day, like you gotta understand, there's some hands where I'm not even playing with Rizio cards. Like I'm just like especially if you're making your deck more than 40, there might be a game where you're not playing with Rizio cards. Like realistically, like that's gonna come up, and I just feel like having more ways to like at least like play. Like it's realistically another one card. Like it gets you to at least something. Realistically, it's an entire combo that you're just like not playing in your deck. Like just playing it just feels like might as well. Like it's just like missing out on an extra combo piece. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think you should also play Sword realistically at 3, bro. That card's also just too broken. Cause, like I feel like the games like you lose is just like losing like, like you lose to just like not seeing like some games you'll lose to not seeing the rise of it. And like that's what I'm like concerned about. Like you don't have enough pushes. Um and yeah, like I feel like that's just my concern with like playing two sword. Like even though like I don't really see a downside to even playing 3. Like realistically, I'm just trying to play that card. Standalone, obviously, it's going to be terrible, or
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be all right, right? But realistically, it's better than none. And like that's just kind of the scenario. I don't want to be in the scenario where I don't see any. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, I think it's like fair. I think it's fair because I've definitely had hands without rise heals, and those hands aren't the greatest, obviously. Um, but yeah, I guess like it's just weird. It's just weird because I have had a lot of hands with like sword plus Larry Lacrima, like one of those two plus sword, and like those hands are always just like they always just feel the absolute worst. But I guess maybe I just gotta
yeah,
like eat those hands when they
I'm
come up.
still playing more than 40 right now, so like hopefully those hands come up less,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can only hope that it comes up less, right? Where
Yeah.
you're opening those one ups, where you're opening those one up cards, right? Because that's the reason why you're upping your count is so you don't see those specific one ups.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I mean, if you did want to get a little closer to 40 and play 43, I think like the next card you cut is Ogre to 2. But I mean, this is fine. I think I like the list that you have in front of me currently.
Yeah. I also
I don't really.
I cut the Exceton Knight. That card, it felt like it was only coming up when my opponents were not playing correctly. I'm not gonna lie. That like against Malice, like it only comes up if they like let you have two level fours on field and don't use their banish effects first. Um, so I like, or like if you're just trying to bait imperm and then duo
I
drive
think that's
afterwards.
really what it is. Like, yeah, that's literally what it's for, right? Like, I feel like that's literally the game states around making it is to literally guarantee bait the Emperor. And if they don't have the Emperor, then I'm just swiping the whole field. And then, like, I mean, and I'm doing my play that I wanted to do anyways, because I think that card's just bait for dual drive. I don't actually think it's really useful for any other reason. And I think it comes up a little bit more than SP in those scenarios. Like, that's realistically the game states I've been coming into, and that's why I play Exciton. Like, that's literally one of the main reasons I play Exciton. The second main reason to play Exciton is in the hands where you open like ice plus sword or ice plus node against shifter. Like your opponent is gonna shifter you, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the summon of Exciton, right? Because that's what they've been doing recently. So this way you can't make a detonator.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. My way is just like the duo drive cross and then follow up.
Yeah,
I don't
like
get the
yeah, this
dot.
is yeah, yep, yeah. That's the difference. Yep, this literally gets you into a detonator. If you had the missing piece, you literally get into an entire detonator. And I think like that's just like the times where it came up for me. I don't think there's any real other times, but I'd say I've been using it a lot in my testing. I've been playing a lot recently. Like I've been playing DB. I've been trying to grind infinite. Just make sure that my theories are just right, and like also helping Jose. Jose's going to the tournament, and
Mm-hmm.
he's with me, and I've been trying to help him as well. And yeah, I think I don't know, like I just think Exciton's probably just better than SP. But I mean, I do see the merit. I understand like the extra deck is just mad tight, and there's some slots that could come up. SP could come up, but like what scenario does SP come up in for you? And like I feel like that's just the main question I wanted to ask you.
So it's mainly grind games is when the SP comes up, because like the Exceton is really just like right away, like you're trying to make it to like beta imperm or, sometimes you do dump it off X to make like Paradise Live or to summon in Grave Round follow up. But the SP is really just
Yeah,
there for like the grind games. But I was back and forth on SP Typhon, Second Requiem, or Exceton Knight. Because the second Requiem is also pretty nice. Because like nobody's
yeah,
expecting it, so it like helps beat Bestials a lot better.
yeah. I can see the second Requiem also getting into that slot, but I also just think like, bro, like it's like you're only like you don't have that many ring fours in your extra deck. I'm telling you, like that's actually like a good bait ring four, bro. Like it actually comes up, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I've been using that card like for bait, but I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like you could sometimes make detonator and just try to play from there. You could just, I mean, realistically, you could play without it, and I feel like everything could be said. The same things could be said for all the other ones too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the thing. Like, all of them, like, and they all come up in their own random scenarios, right? Like they all could have won you the game. They all do come up in random scenarios, and like that's just the facts. Like I do think, like, which scenario do you think you're gonna see more? And I just think like baiting out an imprint with Exton just comes up a lot, and I don't know. Sometimes there is a world where you want to capitalize on your opponent being bad, bro, and your opponent making mistakes. That card could swipe the field for fun, and you could just win the duel that you should have never won. Like that card is allowing you to win duels that you might have like never been able to win because it just
Mm-hmm.
clears your opponent's entire field. Like if your opponent like misplays tremendously, a card like that could help like realistically win you a duel that you had no business winning. I think like that's just the main reason why I would play Exciton because it's like but like that card could straight up win you a game that you should have never won. Like I've seen it happen too, bro,
Yeah,
many times.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
like, yeah. I've definitely won games off of this card when like you definitely just shouldn't be winning those games because they just like accidentally play into it. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Like it's probably just Exceton Knight over the other cards. I've just been trying everything out because there was like,
Yeah,
there's like not much time before the YCS now, but yeah, I think it probably makes sense to play those. And like, it does come up
yeah. I don't.
randomly off like X2, like just getting this engraved.
Yeah, I don't blame you for trying everything, bro. Like trust me, and I've tried everything too, bro. I'm like I literally made sure that these cards weren't enough. Like I feel like we've all came to a conclusion like it's coming towards the end, and I feel like even like other people are starting to realize like some of these cards that people thought were good aren't just not that great. Like even like the breakers, like those cards are just not it. Like all of them are just not it. Like even Metaltronus to an extent, like I would say like that card's like a card that people are still playing, but I just honestly don't think that card's it either. Like
Mm-hmm.
like I think the list that we've ended on at the end is just I think it's just really good. Realistically, I don't think there's much more we could do either. I think this is just kind of like the best we can kind of get to. I think the ogres do help though in the malice matchup and give you a better shot because there's some hands that they have to go lizard ghost and those are just literally the dormouse hands and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Like there could be some random scenarios that could also just work. Right, just clearing a link body off the field sometimes is just ridiculous against that matchup. And I mean, it also like something to know about ogre is just like hitting bow right in the griffin combo
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right. That is insane. Like they're not even expecting that. Like you could literally win a game by just ogreing in a bow off of just like trying to reborn a griffin. You just clear the bow and you clear the like you just clear like griffin obviously right. I don't think it doesn't reborn. I believe it
Yeah, it
has to banish
doesn't.
itself and reborn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So ogre in that match was actually just like I'd say it's better than droll, but like droll obviously is like gives you better Mitsurugi matchup, but like it doesn't really matter as long as you're still fighting Perulia because I think that card is actually the best one into that matchup because it just gives you an opportunity to see combinations of hand trap. and just win the game. And I mean, since you're playing multiple copies of talent, it's also good, you know, because I think you're probably going to keep those in. Like realistically, what are you looking at for side patterns here? You want to go to solo mode and look over side patterns and talk about what we're supposed to be siding out.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that
yeah.
could be beneficial.
Oh, oops. Okay. Okay, so what for like Mitsurugi? It's probably just like put just those in, and then uh, I guess like I just put in the extra sword now. So not exactly sure what I should be doing. If I should, I'd probably still take out a sword.
You can cut one. Yeah, you can cut a sword.
Yeah, cut sword.
I think that's fine.
I was like pretty much I
Um,
was doing this in like most of my matchups, but now like I had another sword in the deck. Um, Maybe it can be. Yeah, it's probably just
this
something
could
like
be it.
this.
If you want to, like, yeah, like, is it really just? I think this is just it. Realistically, I mean, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, and then I guess like Malice, obviously, it's just like those six,
Okay,
and like take these
take out.
out.
Yeah, the
How do you feel about taking out Paradise against Malice? 'Cause I know some people have been
yeah,
doing it.
100% do. 100% do. 100% do. I take out one of those, and I take out one tract actually over the sword, because realistically, like they're playing shifter and stuff, and you'd rather see your rise wheel cards, and that's just
Hmm.
kind of the thought process. So this is what I would put in, and that's it.
Do you think
Okay,
there's?
cool.
I was gonna say, do you ever think there's a world where you still take out like one of these and put in Perulia? I know Perulia is not very good against Malice. But if they do have like Bestial plus Malice, you draw two, and at worst it's just Upstart on the opponent's turn to try to draw on the more hand traps or engine.
Honestly, like think you kind of just want to play the engine pieces because you want to see the engine pieces. You have mad hand traps in your deck going into it. I think like that was like my biggest issue when I was playing games is like 'cause I was testing like taking out sword and X and like taking out cross. And I just kept getting into games where I was losing the grind game. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna take out these cards all the time. You know, I think it's a benefit to keep those cards in. The fact that we can have all those cards in our deck and then fit all these non-engine cards in our deck the way we want to, I think that's just an edge in itself. Like, look how many hand traps you have live against that matchup. Realistically, you have what like
Yeah.
15, 18, 21, 24 hand traps, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
tripping.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, 24 hand traps, bro. I'm pretty sure we could leave the rest to engine. I'm pretty sure we got a few slots that should be engine cards, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're good. This looks good to me. I think I'm comfortable with this. Yep. Okay, now what's the next matchup that we want to cover? It's
Like,
Mitsurugi, right? Or we covered that one already.
yeah, we could just do like
It's the
mirror
same thing.
match. Yeah,
Mitsurugi,
it's
the Mitsurugi and the mirror is the same thing, right? Like it's kind of like the same thing. Or am I tripping?
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
tripping. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then it's just going first, right? So let's go look at our like when we go first, right? So and
yeah. Just
right.
put in like
And
those,
then
and
I think
then
there's a world we side Perulia in for the mirror. um, for when we go first. I think there is a world we do that for cross out target in the mirror and and potentially Mitsurugi as well. Like though, I think it actually might be worth it signing the Perulia into those matchups, especially if your deck's over 40, like super over 40. Like I'm super down, and even if you did draw the Perulia, the one Perulia, I mean it's not the worst. Like realistically, opening Engraver in any level 4 does full combo into that matchup. So it like I think it could be worth to put the Perulia in at one against those matchups. I'm not gonna put the Perulia in it against the Malice matchup, of course, but like those two, like I think they're gonna put in Perulia, and then like
yeah.
I'm down to cut down on like one of each of the hand traps, and like that's it. Um, unless you
Well,
think
I
there's one
feel
that's
like
worse than
ogre,
the
like
other.
this one can get cut down on.
Okay, exactly. Unless you think there's one that's worse than the other, so you could cut two ogre, and then like I'm down to cut down like one of each of the other ones. I think you could keep Nib at 3 if that's the one that you want to keep at high numbers.
Yeah,
Um,
get something like
and
that.
then yeah,
Or like
yep, that's
against
good.
Mitsurugi, I think it'd probably be like this. Just take this card out completely,
Okay, cool. All right.
and yeah, and
Yep.
then yeah, Malice. It's just a bunch of
That was
these
nice.
cards.
Yep, and then you take out like Bestials, right? Yep.
Yeah,
hmm
probably
And then
take out.
you can take out more ogres. Yep. And I
Yeah.
think it's more ogres rather than anything. Like, do you want to take out imperms or would you rather have ogres? Like, that's just kind of imperm Baylor's Asher ogre, yeah, exactly. So more ogres. Then you can take out like an imperm or a Baylor or whatever. I think it's imperm, yeah. That's it, right?
Or
And that's kind of just the
maybe it's a Veiler instead, just because they're a shifter deck.
okay. That makes sense, and that's where we're at. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So side patterns, we covered that. I think there's really no other matchup that we need to like cover side patterns. I think small things to know, I guess, about matchups, about the weird ones. Like Krishan, just know to always shotgun your Charmies and your Lancia so you don't play into Crystalos.
Mhm.
That's like small things. Um, I think it's like the only thing we kind of need to cover for that. Um,
Yeah, I have a lot of
yeah.
testing into that deck, so I know how to like manage it.
Okay, good. Yeah, because like I'm making sure, like like there's all those random decks. I'm just trying to make sure people are like prepared to not just do a stupid play against one of those decks and just lose, right? Like imagine like losing it like to Christian in the main event, just not because you just didn't shotgun a Lancia.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the small things, right? Like yeah,
Oh, I
so
guess like another thing to like bring up against like the weird matchups that I've been doing is like I side Lancia against Mermail, which I know sounds weird because like they don't really do much banishing with their engine. But I think there's a lot of times where like they try to like add Minstrel plus Dragoons from the deck to the hand, and then on res before they Minstrel you just Lancia, and then that'll put
yeah,
them
that's
on
the
maybe
next.
like one more play that your hand trap can stop, and then they don't get to like rip your hand. So I guess
Yeah,
I was just kind of
I
wondering
agree.
like if you think that's like fun. Yeah.
I think you should probably do that realistically. Is Meow's good into that matchup by the way, or is it just not good enough?
It's decent. It's decent. Like, I think it's probably worth putting in. Like, I'd probably like decide like all this, and then like these can
Yeah.
come out for sure. Um,
Yeah, because you're scared of them ripping your hand, dude. But dude, my God, like I don't know. There was some game. I don't know, dude. Like I played a game where the Charmies just helped them rip my hand. This guy did some play where he just mega loaded me and he ripped my hand anyways through the meows through the Fualos. I was like, bro, like this is crazy.
yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that deck's scary. That deck's scary. Like you should be able to beat it like a majority of the time, but like there's sometimes like there's some matches where you just can't do anything against it. Like they win dice roll and they just like FTKU game 1 and FTKU game 3. So like
I
having like
think the side.
infinite charmies helps too, like oldies.
Yeah, I think for sure you want to put those in. There's no other crazy random matchup that I'm really worried about. I think like the only random matchups that you're probably gonna see after that's like White Forest and Tempai. And I mean, White Forest. I mean, I'm pretty sure that matchup's just like I don't know. That deck just doesn't seem appealing to me.
Yeah, no, that deck's cheeks.
Like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I
I'm not
play
really
against
worried.
that deck, it's like round one. My opponent, it's their first YCS. I'm sure I'll cook them. I'm sure I'll find a way. And then 10-5,
Yeah, I
please
really.
no, please don't send 10-5 my way. I'm so sick of that deck. That's my worst like win loss
Yeah, I'm not.
ratio like playing against the deck ever.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Even when I verse it sometimes on radio, like, bro, I'll be losing sometimes. Bro, that deck's just ridiculous. It's still too good. Like,
Yeah.
you could still randomly lose to it, but like, I mean, there's some benefits now. Once you get rid of that tundra, it's kind of just over. But I mean, it's tough. Still. I do think our deck actually has a really good matchup into it. With the trap card's so good into that matchup, bro. The
Mhm.
Lacrima Sun trap. Yeah, that card's just so good into that matchup. So like, realistically, you're probably still fine if you verse it. But I mean, yeah, it's just annoying to deal with. Like, yeah, realistically, I just wanted this session to be us just looking over your deck for the YCS to make sure, like, you're just finalizing your thoughts and your list looks good. And I'm happy if you sign up with this, and I'm like sure you'll do well. I know that you probably just been grinding infinite, like, or
Honestly,
I mean,
I haven't been
watching you.
grinding as much as I should be, but yeah,
Or,
it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I've played a lot of matches with this deck over like the last like 2 months now, so I should even though I haven't been grinding as much as I should be, I should still
yeah, I
be
mean, you're
like fine
keeping
with the
track of
deck.
the game though. At the end of the day, you're still doing videos, you're watching these gameplays, you're seeing things get played out. you still have a you still have a good understanding of what you need to do. So I'm confident you'll do well, Lou, to be honest. Really
Hmm.
hoping that you get the dub. That would be insane, to be honest.
Oh, that would be insane. I'm also I'm getting like coached by Paulo tomorrow too. We're just gonna go over my deck again. So having like you and him go over my deck before your tournament, I mean, come on now. That's like that's like insane.
Bro, yeah, no cap, no cap. I'm not gonna lie, I do feel confident what you got. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with this session. I'm happy we went over your deck, and yeah, bro. I mean, just keep me updated on how you do at the YCS, realistically. And
Of course, of
yeah,
course. I'll send you a picture of me with the trophy. Or worst case scenario, I'll send you a picture of me with the giant card. So I'm winning something this weekend.
doing something this weekend. All right, for sure. All right, Austin. Well, good luck, bro.
Yup, yup.
Need anything else? If you have any questions or you need input from me, bro, just message me. All right, I'm at your like full disposal. Just hit me up. All right.
All right, but I appreciate you, bro. I'll see you.
All right, Austin. Appreciate you, man. Later.
Later. Okay. Yeah, I think I think a lot of our coaching sessions have gone well. Um, I still don't know how I feel about triple sword. I think it's like fine. I think it's fine to play triple sword. Um, Especially once you start playing more and more cards like this, because my list was like 41 cards at some point. Um, but I don't know. It's interesting because I do like having a lot of support cards in this deck because it feels like going first. It's not like you're playing like a Malice deck where your deck just like auto wins going first. Your deck does take it to a grind sometimes, and you know there's stuff like Fua that can stop you game 1, 2, and 3 when you go first. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. The third track in the side deck, I feel like that's probably a solid choice. But I do want to maybe have more talent somewhere. Like it'd have to be cut cowboy though, but like, I really like having cowboy on the deck. I really like having a time card. I feel like having a time card really helps. It'll probably win me one match at least, cause there's going to be a time where we get into a grind game and then game 3, especially if it's a mirror match. Like imagine there's only 3 minutes left, right, going into game 3. No matter who's choosing, I'm going first because if my opponent decides to go first with 3 minutes left and they don't play a time card, which they probably won't, then they're just playing for a draw. They can't win. Where if they send me first and they assume I'm not playing a time card, then there's an opportunity for them to hand trap me out of the game and they win. But now I sneak in a cowboy, all of a sudden I have a way to win. And then it makes it to where like if there's only a couple of minutes left, it pretty much almost guarantees like I will win in time or I'll draw in time. So now my opponent just never has an opportunity to win the game. They will only draw or lose. They will never have an opportunity to win. And a draw over a loss is huge, especially at NAYCSs, because there's a lot of times where if you're X2, you don't top the tournament. Like I didn't top a YCS Indie before being X2. And you know I don't want that to happen. And I almost didn't top YCS Raleigh at X2. And well I was X03, but you know X2 record, that's like the same as an X2 record. I don't want to you know risk not topping at X2. So I like having a draw is much better than having a loss. Like any 1-1 is guaranteed top, any X2 is not guaranteed top in NA. So maybe Cowboy is something that I would change when I go to like the UKYCS. But I think for the NAYCS, you have way less room for error. Where when you're in Europe, when you're in Swiss, you have a lot more room for error because they have an extra round and more players. So you can go X2 and you're guaranteed topping in Europe, and you're not doing that in NA. So maybe that's like a change I make for that YCS. But I guess I'll have my final thoughts now about how I felt about Hani's classroom altogether in his coaching sessions because I'm only showing you my coaching sessions that I had with him, I only had 3 coaching sessions with him. I was supposed to have 4, but it was on me, to be honest. I didn't schedule one, so and well, I did schedule it, but I didn't show up. So that's on me. That's on me. That's on me. There was supposed to be 4 coaching sessions. There's only 3, but that is on me for not showing up. So, I can't blame him for that one. If anything, that's my bad. I completely forgot about it. And then he had classrooms, which at the beginning of the month, I went into the classroom a lot because he would do classrooms on Fridays, and he would do the classroom like 4 separate times. So it was like 4 hours in the classroom and then 4 hours in coaching is pretty much what it was. Today we just had a short lesson because we really didn't have that much to talk about at the end of the day. We weren't playing matches. We had already talked about the deck list before. We just going over it, making sure everything is fine. But it wasn't just 4 hours in the classroom either. Like the first week, he hosted a tournament in the classroom, and that tournament itself was like 5 hours long. And then literally the next night, like they were just in the call. Like the classroom's just a Discord. That's what it is, and it's just a Discord channel. And I joined in, and like Hani and some of the other people were yapping for like hours straight while I was like doing something else, and I just sat there and listened to them. And just in the first like couple of days of the classroom, I'd already consumed like 8 hours of Hani yapping. And no offense to him, but that man can yap. That man can yap. That man can go and go. And I respect the yap. That's all I'm going to say. I respect the yapping. And yeah, honestly, I felt like the classroom was worth it, to be honest. I feel like the classroom's worth it. I feel like if you have a YCS coming up, I feel like the classroom is worth it. If you don't have a classroom coming up, a YCS coming up, then I feel like it's fine. Like, I feel like you should really only be doing it if you have a YCS coming up, though, because, like, you have an event you want to prepare for. Otherwise, you're, like, building your deck list very nice, you're doing all this, you're getting very nice, but then there's no event coming up. I guess, like, a regional, too, if you're, I guess, like, no, not to, like, brag, but, like, I'm on a different caliber. I'm not, like, worrying about regionals or anything, but if you are worrying about your regional invite, if you do the classroom and actually do the testing and do the tournaments that he hosts, because he hosted like 4 different tournaments, and then going over some of the misplays, going over the replays in that tournament, I feel like it will make you a better player for sure. I'm pretty sure the classroom cost, I think it was $200 or $250 for the time though, but when you think about it, like that's 4 one-on-one coaching sessions for an hour each, and then on top of that it's like the classroom. So obviously, like, there's going to be a lot of people out there who don't want to spend $250 on the coaching, which I think that's fair. I think that's completely fair if you don't want to spend that type of money on coaching. It's completely okay. But I think that, if you do have, like, the extra money for it and you do want to try it, I do think it's something that you could definitely do. And I think it's something that will definitely help you advance in either like deck building. It'll make your deck better. I think if you sit in the classroom, I think there is a lot to learn from it, and it's not just like Hani there either. Like Hani's friends will come in, like other people that are very good players. I'm not gonna say they're always gonna be there because I don't know if they're always gonna be there, but like Nesh was in the call a bunch, Urena was in the call a bunch. Who else? So there was just like there was just like some good players that would like hop in the call. But those 2 were there a decent amount of the time. And, like, yeah, like, just being around those players, surrounding yourself around greatness will make you better. If you're actually, like, listening to what they say and absorbing their knowledge. But, okay, that's going to be it for the video now. I'll go ahead and leave a link down below to Hani's Discord if you want to go ahead and sign up for coaching. He has a Discord called Take Notes, and you can sign up for like coaching, have him go over your replay, yada yada yada. So I'll link that down below at the very top of the description if you want to go ahead and check that out for yourself. And I don't know when he's going to be doing another one of these classrooms. But you could just DM him about it. You'll see him like on the Discord. You could just DM him about it, message him, and ask him, and I'm sure he'll be able to tell you. I can't answer that, but he will be able to. And all right, this video won't be posted until probably after YCS Birmingham. At least definitely until after YCS Orlando. I don't know if the last one will be done until after Birmingham. Actually, yeah, this one won't be uploaded till after Birmingham, almost for sure. But all right, we'll find out how I do. To be honest, I didn't put in enough hours, so if I don't top either of these YCSs, it's 100% my fault. I've no one to blame but myself. I've put myself in a situation where I should be able to top. I should say I put myself in a situation where I don't think I deserve the top because of the amount of hours I put in. Just strictly hasn't been enough hours. I haven't been liking this format too much, to be honest with you. But, you know, hopefully my overall good technical play is able to get me there. And I've also had a lot of experience with this deck. So hopefully that is able to guide me into at least a Steam Deck. At least a Steam Deck, or at least a giant card, baby. Come on, at least a giant card, man. At least let me walk away with something, man. But alright, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace, have a nice day, stay safe.